Hey guys, Heavy on 45 here. It's October, which means we're slowly rolling into Halloween time. Everyone's gonna be dressing up in their favorite costume. And some people, if you're an anime fan, are already wearing your favorite costume because you probably was trying to get your stuff set up for the next anime convention you're going to whenever this COVID thing's over with. So, it doesn't matter. But, you know, October for a lot of people is a time where you get together with your friends, you dress up as different characters. A lot of characters when it comes to Halloween has to do with some if you're an adult, it's something sexy, sexy nurse, sexy Mario, which I don't know how you make a plumber sexy, but they let these women do it. Sexy Angel, Harley Quinn, which you don't have to put sexy on that, just a skin tight suit or a very high skirt basically makes up a Harlequin costume with the different color hair and the white face. Yeah. Um, but yeah, you can find a lot of different like costumes when it comes to and am I gonna be talking about costumes? Like, no, but I am gonna be talking about some I'm doing a versus battle. This is a versus battle I've been thinking about for at least 8 months. And I was like, should I do this? I'm like, yeah, I just need to wait till October. And so, kind of like a kid on Christmas, I had been waiting, waiting, and waiting. And a part of me was like, maybe I should just wait for. No, I'm gonna do it now. So, the versus battle that I have has nothing to do with anime right now. It has something to do with two of the we've had. Okay, we've had a movie which was Freddy versus Jason. You had Freddy Krueger versus Jason. I like both of them. I, you know, I like the thrills of seeing. Well, I used to be terrified of Freddy, but then I had a dream, and it sounds very weird. Let me explain it real quick. As a kid, I was completely freaked out over Freddy Krueger. I saw that he would, because the name of his stuff is Nightmare on Elm Street, so he constantly would keep coming into kids' dreams and scaring them to death, or like literally when they fell asleep. So I'm thinking as a 5-year-old or something like that, because I never saw, I just heard about him. I thought that he was real, and I was thinking that if I go to sleep, he's gonna come, and so I was worried. And this happened for at least 4 or 5 years that I was scared of Freddy Krueger till I saw, I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street 5, where all the kids were fighting him, and one of them had like a pocket knife and she was going against him. Another one like dreamed that he had super strength. And so I had a dream like that where like me and him actually duked it out where I'm like super strong. I fought him, and then he tried to cut me with his claws. I think I cut off one of his fingers and cut him back with. It was, not graphic, but yeah, it was a Freddy thing. Um, but going back to Freddy versus Jason, I didn't think that was a good match. You know, Freddy is a person who excels at being in your dreams. Jason excels at physical combat. That would be like me putting, let's see, someone in anime. Uh, Escanor versus Light Yagami, or Escanor versus Lelouch from Code Geass. That is not that one is not a fair fight because one, yes, you have someone who's super smart, so they should be able to get themselves out of anything. But the other side of it is that you have this super strong guy that no one has really seen his true limits. Um, and so yeah, that's where I have that. So I'm like, let's think of a better versus battle. Some two people that can go against each other, and it would be in a way epic. And the people that I figured that could go against each other is Freddy Krueger versus Pennywise. Now, that probably doesn't make sense. And if some of y'all already seen these shows, it should make sense because it's a battle of fear. If these two are going against each other, you have Freddy Krueger, who he comes into your dreams and he takes from what he can discover about you, he finds your deepest, scariest dream and he puts you into there. And whatever the scenario is, he'll like just, it's kind of like he searched your mind to find out what is it that scares you. And he starts scaring you over and over, just little tidbits of fear that he just drops in on you. Because, and most of this stuff does go to the kids of Elm Street because he, he's upset because their parents killed him. So it's a lot of fear of what the kids don't know a lot of times, especially if you're talking about the most recently made Elm Street movie where the kids are like trying to figure out why in the world is this man trying to kill us, and you do find out in the end. Um, but yeah, he, but his thing is that he tries to figure out what is it that scares you the most, and he scares you with it. Pennywise feeds off of fear. He goes into your mind also and finds out what is your deepest fear. What scares you? What can he use to make him strong? And both of these people do feed off fear. Fred, when you watch Freddy versus Jason, you find out that literally if no one believes in Freddy, he cannot like attack anyone. He's still around, but it's like he can't become tangible in your dream world to where he can attack you unless he has people that fear him. Pennywise is, has been around for hundreds of years. Well, I don't know if I think thousands of years would be good because we find out in the most recent adaptation of it that Pennywise has been around ever since ancient times. It seems like, and they had found a way to deal with him and all this stuff, but they thought they found a way. But the thing is that he still also fed on the kids' fear. He loves whatever fear you have. So you have these two people feeding basically off of each other. Pennywise trying to find what Freddy's fear is. Freddy is trying to find out what Pennywise fear is. And in a way, it's it's also somewhat of a difficult match to say who would win. It's because, like I said, they are in some ways equally matched. Both, both of them are focused on trying to find out what your deepest fear is, and that's not to say neither one of them has no fear, but no, they. It's rare for them to run to somebody that can turn that back on them. Like when if you've seen the end of the recent It movie, that was that was his fear. Its fear was of people not being afraid of him anymore. That he was not a threat to the kids, to where because all they saw him as was a clown. And Freddy on the other side, he I guess you could say his thing is he doesn't want to be forgotten. So, because he doesn't want to be forgotten, that could be his fear. Just people isolating themselves from him. Like, all of a sudden, Pennywise just has kids coming around and they're like just looking at Freddy, and Freddy's trying to scratch him, but nothing's happening, and it starts freaking him out. And let's say that feeds Pennywise. But then at the same time, Freddy is trying to get Pennywise, and Pennywise is basically getting small, well, all of a sudden shrinking down because he sees the kids not being scared of him, and so both of them are have somewhat the same weakness. But with all this stuff I'm saying, I have there was a slight problem with what I've said, and I don't know if you've caught it yet. Freddy's stuff only works when you're asleep. There is no proof that Pennywise ever sleeps. Like, technically, um well, he does sleep, so because it's like a hibernation period. Because what was it like? Every 20 years, he woke up to torture, well, take kids. And after he got through feeding, he would proceed to sleep for another bit of time until finally um, he came back. So he had a ritual that he was doing, but that would mean that it's conditional on what will happen. But for the most part, I will have to say the advantage would have to go to Pennywise, just because um Freddy's is conditional. Freddy's whole idea of scaring people happens when they're asleep. He couldn't pull what he did with Jason, where he could fill him full of drugs and knock him out. Because technically both of them are, in a way, constructs. They are not physical beings. They're a spirit that are, they'd be two spirits dueling against each other. And Pennywise would not probably be the clown. Pennywise would probably be the giant spider you saw in the movie. So you have a giant spider versus a man with a metal claw on his hand. I'm sorry, crisply crackly ex janitor with a metal claw on his hand. So that would be a very interesting battle to watch. But like I said, it would be very conditional, because if we, and that's the thing, you don't really know what happens to it when during his downtime, because there is, like I said, that 20-year or so downtime where nothing happens. So what happens to him? Does he actually sleep, or does he just like hide away for a while until it's time? Um, and I'll give I will give Freddie a chance, and I'll say that he goes to sleep during that time. So, but even if he did that, like I said, it it Pennywise, whichever one you want to say, Pennywise feeds off of fear also. So if someone is coming to attack him in his dreams, he could attack right back. So it's not like they're defense. I mean, he's defenseless, even though he's hibernate. Um, so the winner I will have to give to that would have to be Pennywise. Pennywise is the greater fear monster than Freddy Krueger. And it's funny because I was scared of both of them as a kid. And yeah, Pennywise is so also disarm disarming when you think about it also. Because what Pennywise does is he comes to you as a clown. A simple clown. Like how he does all the time. He's like, hey, the favorite line, hello, Georgie. He speaks to Georgie. Georgie comes over there. And you're like, it's just a simple clown. No one's afraid of clowns until you think about the Joker. But that's besides the point. But no one's afraid of clowns. So you go over there, see the clown, and the clown asks you to come down to the sewer because we're all having fun down here. And then you start talking about we all float too, and everything floats down here. Yeah, no. Um, but yeah, I would have to say it goes to Pennywise. Pennywise create not he doesn't create more fear. They create the same amount of fear, but he does not have the limitation of only being able to affect people when they're asleep. He affects people when they're awake. And also, I would say that Pennywise is somewhat more terrorizing with it because he not only does that, but he could, in a way, suffocate Freddy because, well, not suffocate Freddy, but cut off Freddy's food supply if he wanted to. Because what Pennywise does is freak people out to where they can't sleep sometimes. Like, the people start seeming like they're up all the time because they're freaking out. And so they can't get sleep, and all of a sudden they start uh, staying awake, which means, and if I remember correctly, if you're awake after 3 days or so, you're considered legally insane. Um, yeah, that's not something I will have happen. Won't have happen. So because of that, if people are not sleeping, that means Freddy can't torture them in their dreams, which means also Pennywise will win. Well, if you disagree with what I said it, but you just came to see what I would do anyway. Uh, I hope y'all like it. If y'all do disagree with it for real, just write in the comments what you think would really happen. Uh, like I said, I got some other stuff for Halloween. Um, and I will catch y'all later.